So what you got in the topic?
Okay, so I think that, first of all, there's no universal reason why women are wearing their, these false hair. There's no universal reason. Every woman has their own reason why they do it. So to try to come up with one definitive reason is a waste of time. So if you're able to just wash your own hair, go to the, the hair beauty supply shop or whatever you guys call it, get a wig for $50, decent. It's not amazing, but it's wearable. It looks okay if you know what you're doing. And then you're saving tons of money for like a few weeks of this hair. So we need to think about the practicality and the cost effectiveness of some of the wigs. Obviously not all. So the gentlemen were saying, oh yeah, some women don't like their hair. Yeah, some of the men don't like it. Let's be honest. You have the tighter, coily hair and you just wear a little afro. Let's not kid ourselves. There's going to be a population of men that like it. But there are going to be some men that you might want that don't like it. So if you're looking for a certain type of guy and he likes a certain look that you don't have naturally, then you go and you buy that look. You just buy it. It's just a lot of fun to play with different looks. And the men want to make it so complicated that we don't look white. Like we don't change races when our texture straightens. And I want men to understand that there are lots of black men that do not want to see your natural hair. And if they want to see it, let me tell you what they say. Naturally straight, which is not even natural. They don't mind it to be your own hair. They just don't want to see the kinkiness to it or the coiliness. But they need to understand there are lots of men that don't want to see it. They're like, go get it permed. And then she goes, you know what? I'm just going to get a wig. It's the same What's the difference? What's the difference? And that's why, to me, I agreed with Nicki Minaj, because men are always telling you, I don't like this. Next minute, they like it. Tomorrow, they don't like it. And they're so fickle. I'm Caribbean. Caribbean men, some like your hair to be straighter. Some like the natural. It all depends. There are men that don't want to see your natural hair. And if your natural hair is, even if you perm it and it's really not very long, they don't want you. So these women go and get longer hair to cater to the men that they want. But you're not going to ever get women to stop with this fake hair, because guess what? It's too cheap. Let's say the basic ones, and it's too easy. It really is. So women not going to stop.
Why then? If we embrace this as black women, wearing blonde weaves one day, maybe your blonde wigs, red wigs the other day, all these different colored hairs that would represent beauty from other different nationalities, why would we do that and then at the same time complain about being oppressed by Eurocentric features, Eurocentric standards, saying that black men or other men are texturists or whatever that may be? Because that is a common theme that we as black women, our beauty isn't being celebrated. And I think that's another thing, that's another reason why it can get confusing when it just comes to the black community, because you have women who are embracing beauty of other women, but then also complaining about being oppressed by your Eurocentric beauty standards. What do you have to say about that?
Blonde hair is the only unique hair to the white race. They don't have spicy red, or even the reds that I've used. They have, very few of them have an auburn, or the Irish will have that very red color, which I don't wear that, and most people don't usually wear that shade. They wear offshoots, which are dyes, and a lot of white women dye their hair. So we don't even get to see most of their natural hair color. What I'm trying to say to you is we're not imitating them. We're just using hair products and coloring our hair, because it's just different. In Africa, they put clay in their hair and change the color, and it has nothing, and they do red clay and they do auburn clay. It has nothing to do with white people. What are we doing that's so white that we shouldn't be doing it? We do braids, we do the twist and kinky, we do everything that we want to.
Them, if we're not emulating other women of European features, standards, hair types, etc., then why are we as Black women at the same time complaining about being oppressed by those standards? Why are we complaining about being oppressed by those standards if they don't exist? If we're not literally buying the hair from those women, literally sporting the hair from those women, if we're not literally wearing hairstyles that resemble those women, if we're not emulating them, but the hairstyles that we're wearing are coming historically, it's coming from that vantage point, and at the same time we're complaining about Eurocentric beauty standards. We're the ones complaining about that. Black men are not necessarily complaining about being oppressed by Eurocentric beauty or Black women being oppressed. That's something that we as Black women actively talk about. Again, if we're complaining about that, then and I think the caller was saying that wasn't the case, then which is it?
So I'm from the Caribbean.
Okay.
And I am here to tell you that woman does not speak for Caribbean women. Okay. Most women, especially young girls, young schoolgirls in the Caribbean, have natural hair.
Okay.
My whole family have natural hair. I think my sister is the only one in my family that wears wigs.
Okay.
Everybody else I don't know which Caribbean. I mean, I'm not saying that there aren't women in the Caribbean that doesn't wear weave, but I will say this. This is accountability for a lot of our women is like kryptonite. We don't want to speak the truth. And the truth is, here's the question. Why would you cover up something that you love? Why would you suppress something that you care about and love? And if Black women go about every day covering up their hair all day long, suppressing it to the point where it doesn't grow, they're losing their edges, the hair is not functioning because you keep covering it up, why would you want to cover up something that you love so much? The bottom line here is that it's self-hatred. Okay? A lot of us, when we were little girl, we see the little mixed kids, we see the little Indian kids, and when we look at the television and we see the commercials with the hair product, and it's the hair that looks like that little Indian kid, and it's the hair that looks like that little mixed kid, right? And the natural hair of the regular Black child isn't being represented. And so now as a little girl, and you're looking at that, and you're looking at the television, and all that is being represented is the hair of this little mixed kid or the hair of this little Indian chick, and that's what you want because it's on television. You know what I mean? So now you begin to look at your hair and you're starting to wonder what's wrong with my hair. And now you're starting to look at that little mixed kid. Well, it's starting to look better because that's what's on TV. It's the deep-seated self-hatred that a lot of Black women is refusing to acknowledge. It's self-hate. It is self-hate, and she's lying to herself. She is a liar. She's lying to herself. I swear to God, I was hoping to get on the line when she was there so I can tell her that she is lying to herself. She's not being honest, because there's no way in hell that I would cover something up that I love so much. I never met a man. Listen, I used to wear a perm, right? I wore my hair a perm for I wouldn't say most of my life. I got a perm when I was 14 years old, right? And I because I thought straight hair was better looking, right? Because that's what I see the older woman, the mature woman in the community was doing. And so, hey, the straight hair, right? And when you look at the perm boxes and when you look at the television, that's what you see. So I got a perm. And then I started wearing weave when I moved to the United States from Jamaica, right? And I have a family member who introduced me to weave. And I never liked it. And even though I was forced to wear it, I just never liked it. But I was told that this is what the men like, right?
You were told that?
Yes.
By another woman or by men?
By my older females in my family.
Okay.
That it's more attractive. I was led to believe that this is more attractive.
Okay.
Right? And so I never felt comfortable with it, though. I wore it for a little while, and then I cut my hair off and I went natural, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And I started wearing weave again, like the little fake weave. And I noticed that the only men that I was attracting, because I was trying to get my hair to grow underneath the weave, right? Because deep down, I wasn't 100% okay with my hair natural and wearing it out like that. So I started wearing the wigs while my hair grew. And I noticed that I was only attracting the Pookie and the Ray Ray, okay? I'm keeping it real. I was only attracting the Pookie and the Ray Ray. And it wasn't until I decided to start growing my hair out was when I met my husband. I met my husband. I had never met a man who embraced my natural hair. I mean, he couldn't keep his hand out of my hair. On our first date, his hands was all in my hair. And that's when I knew I had found the right man. But I keep telling these women, if you're wearing wigs and weave because you think that you're not getting the right that's the only time you're getting attention.
Yeah.
It's because you're attracting the type of man that you're attracting with wigs and weave, or the only type of man that you're gonna get, right? And it's you want be yourself. A real man is going to be attracted to a woman who's confident in herself, in her natural self, okay? And that's when you're gonna meet a lot of Black women are really, really missing out on the opportunity to live a more fulfilling life with a man who is gonna love her and accept her because of her weaves and wigs. If you just accept yourself, be confident, and you're going to meet somebody who's going to see the real you for you, but you're covering up that beauty. You're showing the men that you hate yourself, right? And you're only going to attract the Pookie and the Ray Ray, because a real man is not going to go for that. It's unattractive, and it shows people that you are not confident and you hate yourself. You hate the image every time you look in the mirror. You hate yourself. We as Black women really, really need to be honest with ourselves. But that's a far way to go, because honesty to a lot of us Black women is like kryptonite. We don't like to tell the truth. We will rather choke on a chicken bone than to just give up and say you're right. You're right. and the bottom line is that a lot of us hate ourselves. We hate ourselves because the celebrity that we see, the Nicki Minaj and all these people. But look at their lives and look at who they're married to. They're married to Pookie and Ray Rays. And half of them can't even stay in a marriage. Half of them can't even find a guy to marry them. And if they do, it's the Pookie and the Ray Ray.
It's so funny. It's just so funny because I'm like, your call is 180-degree turnaround from my previous caller. You guys both, coming from the Caribbean, obviously. So it's so interesting to hear polar opposite perspectives on this issue.
Well, she doesn't represent us at all. Okay, and this is why it's good to get a variety of women from different places and hear the point of view, instead of just having one person from the Caribbean calling in, and now all of a sudden that person represent the entire Caribbean. No, they don't. She doesn't represent us.
I just highlighted I don't know if you can see it, but what would you say for those women? Because that's one of the primary pushbacks I saw from women when I put the question out there last week, that Black men don't like it, and they've never gotten a compliment from a Black man on their natural hair.
That's a lie. I'll tell you what. it's the men. You know, I hate when our women just blame this broad stroke our men, right? It's the men that they want the compliment from. It's the men that they want the attention from, and it's usually the Pookie and the Ray Ray. Okay, those are the ones that are not giving the attention, because those guys, they're also suffering from self-hatred, because they grew up with mothers, mostly women in the family, who hated their hair. They grew up with women who they've never seen those mama and grandma and auntie and cousin. They've never seen those women with their real hair. All their lives they've seen grandma in a wig. All their life they've seen mommy in a wig, and auntie and sister and everybody else have always worn a wig. So those men are the ones that are suffering from self-hatred. And so when they see these women and they don't accept the natural hair on these women, and these women are going out of their way to please that type of man, you're trying to please the wrong man, because they don't understand self-love themselves, because they were raised by the wrong people. There are men out here who were raised right, and they love themselves, and we need to listen to the brothers, right? The men, you have men who are saying, listen, sisters, we want natural hair. We love y'all with the natural hair, but we don't seem to be listening at all.